now that that game is over, we can just talk about it, dude. Should we start feeling bad for Victor? Is that an appropriate reaction, or is that like he's too rich to feel bad for? He just didn't know where the fuck to be, bro. It was like he was lost.
Yeah, you know what? I don't feel bad for Victor. Fuck Victor.
After he hit Britney Spears like that, no,
I don't. Here's the thing about the Spurs, bro. Is the beginning? The starting lineup is the beginning of what happened last night that got me excited. Right? They've booed every starter except for Chris Paul, but especially Victor. They really booed Victor. And this goes back to when we drafted Chet and we talked about the possibility of this new 7'4" guy coming in, named Victor, that was going to take over the NBA. And all of our, people that were on here would talk about it. And we all said the same thing. It was Chet is Victor's kryptonite. But let's just take it a step further. Is watching him last night and the other 4 games that he's played this season so far, it's shown me one thing, is that Chet is like the kryptonite of the NBA, bro. Like what we're seeing from Chet right now on defense and offense is really special, and it's getting me excited because it's not just about the stats like Victor throws up as only stats. No wins, but stats. We're getting wins. We're playing crazy defense from everybody. Our offense is seamlessly working well right now for 3 of the 4 quarters that we're playing per game. And to me, like, that's exactly where this team needs to be, because you and I both know we've covered the Thunder for long enough to know that it takes this team half a year to get settled. And when they get settled, it's over. They go on crazy win streaks. They do all these amazing things, and that's it. We're looking at a January time that we have to get this team ready to go in shape, and let's get it on.
Dude, the difference I see between just Chet's understanding of what his role and his ability to move within that framework, looking for his shots, understanding what is a good shot, what isn't, it's spectacular to notice the difference of what's going on in San Antonio. And I mean, you got to give Sam Presti all the credit for aligning things before Chet arrived, but even just that whole time with Chris Paul, that now seems like San Antonio is trying to mimic and say oh yeah, we want that version of Chris Paul that helped us get to the playoffs. That was a few years ago. So the Spurs are they need to figure out a way to get 3 more number 1 picks to really build around, so they can figure out how to compete, because this is not like they're 1 or 2 players away, bro. They are a whole squad away. Victor, I honestly, I feel bad for him. That game was it was sad to see, because he's a supreme talent and he's not going to be used at that level. And his best games will be regular season, and it's going to be like that. And unfortunately for him, Chet gets to play the playoffs.
I don't know, man. I look at Chet, I looked at Victor, I look at all these other guys, and I can't help but look at the Spurs and, in a way, look at Victor and Shea as being similar. Like they are far above everybody else on that team at that time period. And I look at Shea, and I looked at how he was able to pull the team together, that Sam was able to put guys around Shea for him to be successful. And I look at the players that we had when Shea first got here and playing his first year, and that was Isaiah Roby. And I look at it and I'm like, man, Isaiah Roby looked good during that time for us, right? I'm sure he's in the NBA or in playing professional across seas. But my point about that is that I like Shohan, right? But Spurs have a Shohan problem, because Shohan and Isaiah Roby have similar skills. Yes, Shohan's a little bit better, but in 4 years, 5 years, Shohan won't even be on the team because they'll have a better player in that position. And you look at that and you're saying, what player besides Steven Castle and Victor are still going to be there in 5 years?
I don't even know Castle can make it, bro.
Well, listen, I like Steven Castle a lot. I think that he is actually going to be a great sidekick for Victor, but not a number 2.
But here's the thing, right? What marks our elite players, our guards, our perimeter players? We all defend at the highest level. If you can't defend at the highest level, good luck getting any court time with this team. And that's why I look at go draft this player for offense, go draft this player because they're nice in this way or whatever. but we have two-way players. We have players like Lou Dort who earned his spot from defense and then figured out how to become one of the best three-point shooters in the league. Like you have a guy like Chet who last year just absolutely amazing on the defensive end, and then this year, like really we just saw like this is his first game where he shot well from three, but you can see like what he's been working on. Like this guy, a 3-point shot is a layup for most people. So it's kind of I think surprising for him. He's been struggling, but he'll settle into it, and he should easily shoot 40% from three because of his shot selection and how it's just the mechanics are natural. He's not at that point at this moment, but it's coming very quickly, and a lot of it is the team, right? Like this camaraderie, the building of like a team around them, acquiring of picks before you went out and started building the preparation for the team, what we saw Sam Presti do. So this, I hope for the sake of the NBA, because like they put out an hour clip of all the top Chet and all the top Victor highlights, right? They need this. They know it, bro. They need to be able to market this rivalry. And it's right now, it's not even close to being a rivalry. Right now, like Victor has one game he's won against Chet, I think. And that was, everybody made a big deal about that. But in the end, like that 30-foot or that Steph Curry logo three, whatever you want to fucking call this shit, dude, it's a great shot when it goes in. But if you're not getting anything going and you shoot a couple of those, man, I don't know, coach like Popovich is kind of like, hey, come sit next to me. It's a good spot right here, you know? Like, and that's what it looked like with Victor. It's just like, we didn't give him an inch. He couldn't breathe. And so he's just like, well, I'm just going to shoot it from back here.
Yeah. And when he shot as horrible as he did last night, when I say horrible, like he shot five shots. You know, like that is not a move that LeBron would ever be okay with. That's not a move that Michael would ever be okay with. That's not a move that all these other predecessors of the top players in the NBA and everybody's looking at Victor as that next person. But I would have never seen this type of game from LeBron or for Michael. So to my point about that is that you see these guys and you're wanting to give them the benefit of the doubt. You want to say that Shea is going to be, or not Shea, but Chet is going to be better than Victor. You want to say that Dort and all these guys that we have coming up are going to continue to stay and play at a high level on this team. But the reality is we don't know. Like we don't know what type of injuries are going to come. We don't know anything else like that. But I do know for right now, if this team stays healthy and this team keeps on developing, we don't need a player like Shea to step up and shoot, 60% from 3-point range or 70% from the field goal range in order to win every single game. He shot 20% from 3-point and 27%, 28% from field goal last night. 18 points. Yeah, we still got the dub. I mean, it was not even close to close. And we were able to let Shea work through his issues and get his mind right and allow these other guys to step up. And Chet, 19. You had Dort, 20. And then you had 12 from J-Dub, and then you had 12 from AJ Mitchell. Like those are our double-digit guys right now. Last night, it was a great game for these guys.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I wish it was a little bit more like, oh look, we're undefeated. We're one of two teams that are still undefeated, and that's like what this was about. But it's like this got hype, bro. There was a lot of people who came in watching on ESPN. We had to watch an overtime finish. See the Celtics lose, so. We're hoping for a good game, and then it was just like, it was a bit of a letdown. And I'm wondering if, like, I don't know. You say it like nobody can keep up with us, but I hope for the future of like sports, like that there's a rivalry between the Spurs and the Thunder.
Sure,
that's important to
me. We talked about this earlier, but domination of a sport, domination of offense and defense, we've seen domination of the sport in the NBA, whether it's the 73 win team or 72 win team. That's pretty dominant in the sport. But we've never seen a team that has so clearly dominated on offense and defense like the Thunder are. Like, yes, we're talking 4 games, so it's hard to say much more. But for us, Mark and I, 82 games last year, 82 games the year before, we know what we're looking at. We're seeing that this is just the step up from last year at the end of the season. And for me, it's an easy step up when I'm looking at the Thunder and I'm saying, this is easy. The Thunder have it. They've got an offense and defense, and there's never been a team in the league that has had the defense and offense like the Thunder does in the same year. 4 games into it, I know we got a long ways to go, but I don't see another team being able to stay with us for a longevity of an 82-game season, and much less a 7-game series. Like this is the year that we've all been waiting for a long time, and that's what gets me amped about it, is because
Okay,
this is unlike anything else I've ever seen from a team,
I
and
just
it's
remember
because
this
it's the
story,
build up.
dude. We went to basketball camp in Texas. Remember this? And there was this kid. He was a 7-footer, and he was pretty good. And he had a shitty team around him. And he was like, he asked us to come play on his team.
Yep.
Remember this guy?
Yep,
And he
I
kind of
do.
started crying. He started crying a little bit because he really needed some players around him that could throw him the ball, and he couldn't figure out how to. And
How to do it?
that's what I feel like. That's what Victor is going to be at, dude. He's going to be like going around the NBA, being like, "You got game. Like, will you come play with me?" Because they just put me with a 40-year-old man.
I know.
They just put me like that, and they think that that's going to solve my problems. Like, this isn't YMCA league, guys. I don't know what the fuck they're thinking. I don't know. I'm sorry. I got to let Victor go, but it just reminded me of that guy who played. I think it was like Texas. I don't want to throw him under
He
the
went to
bus.
Texas
Although
Tech.
if I could think of his name, I would throw him under the bus in a second, but I can't right now. So I'm going to let it go. But
You know, I think it was important though, that was the moment I looked at him. I said to him, you got to work with your team, because here's the thing about it, is that like Victor, right, is this 7-foot guy. Whenever he wouldn't get the ball in the places that he wanted to get the ball, he would throw his hands up and get angry and stomp down the court like Victor. Like, everybody needs a big baby on their team. And that's what gets me excited about watching a team like the Spurs after we just crushed them, is that Victor could not move on from getting booed in the beginning of the night, bro. He couldn't
you think
move
that's
on.
what it was? You think it hurt his ego?
I don't know. I want to speculate
Or
and
just
say
like-
that he's a big baby, and that's what happened. He's like,
Was
how
it the
dare
swarming
people make fun of
defense?
me?
It might have been the swarming defense, but I'm going to, I'll go with the hurt ego. Honestly, a guy like Victor, like theoretically, no amount of good defense should be able to stop a guy like Victor's offense, because like he's the cheat code and all that, right? But I guess a team, right? A team of greatness, and then a guy who can match him step for step like Chet, leaves him in a spot where it's like, I don't know, man. Like, it leaves him in a spot where he's crying to other players, hoping that they'll come play for him. Like, please,
That's it.
I can't keep doing this. Like,
Dude,
I keep seeing them have fun in the playoffs.
the way we stifled the players, though, bro, we had 18 steals last night. 18 steals. Like, it was, to me, it was just like, what's going on? I mean,
Dude, it was
these
a
guys
lot
are-
like when the JV would, when the varsity would put on a press against the JV. Like, they had
Yep.
some good quarters. It wasn't like we just came out and just like dominated them. But the times when we wanted to, like when it was like, okay, it's time to like put the clamps on, like that's when it just made it feel like this isn't the same thing, man.
It's not.
This is
Like, I know the score says 12 points. Okay, guys, I get that. I know that. But when a team puts a whoop ass like the Thunder did, it allows them to sit the last, fourth quarter. Last half of the fourth quarter. Like, we weren't even trying anymore. We were getting minutes for players. And I think that's the thing about what's happening with this team, is that, like, we're not only putting away teams, we're burying them and allowing our bench to go out there and actually do some great things. I mean, our bench is averaging probably good 25 points a game at this point, if not more. So seeing that, it's like, okay, this is exactly what we need. We need everything in sync. Shea doesn't have a good night. All right, Shea. We'll get other guys to have good nights. We'll lean on these other guys. Dort was lights out, 6 for 8 on 3-pointers last night. Like, dude was just like letting him fly. So that's what we have. We're looking at this team on so many levels, and we're still not healthy. We're still not to the best defense ability that this team is going to be at during the course of a year with having Hartenstein in there. I mean, Hartenstein's going to be a completely different ball game when you put him out here next to Chet. You know, like I'm telling you guys, like we're not close to 100% yet on defense, and we're making teams look silly right now. They can't even make it to 100 points. We don't even need to score 110 to win games, bro. We don't even need to score 110. When is the last time that's happened in the NBA, where a team doesn't
Feels like
even
the
need to score
90s.
110 points to win?
90s, 1994.
There you go.
Back when Anthony Mason was ruling the paint. Like, I don't know, man. It's special. It's special. We're undefeated, and that is unbelievable. First time since 2017 that we're 4-0. That was a cool year. Although that was the year after we lost KD, so we were still like kind of reeling. But we got off to a good start there, I think, with Russ and Paul George, and it felt like, hey, we'll be all right. But in the end, it was several years of mediocrity that, looking back, we weren't all right. So here we are on the other side of all of that shit, dude, and it's really nice to be here. Anybody who's not a Thunder fan, you're welcome to join us. We're going to be good for a long time, so you might as well join the team instead of making us call us daddy every day.
Yeah, and we just appreciate you guys. Do us a favor, pull your tips out, and smash that like and smash that follow button for us, because we love you guys, and we will talk to you guys as soon as we can. Thunder up, baby.